harmonious, just and equal worlds. In this book, I will be delving into the factors that facilitate sexual abuse, including institutional, cultural, and ideological ones, as well as exploring patterns and practices. But I will also be looking at the various meanings that victims and perpetrators give to violent acts. Only knowledge of the diverse forms of cruelty, coupled with respectful attention paid to the lives of other people, will edge us towards a feminism that can eradicate the scourge of sexual violence throughout the world. Transnational tensions. This can only ever be a partial account of sexual violence, both physical and psychological, around the world. After all, forms of abuse are legion. 19th-century peasant women in Ireland who were abducted as a way of forcing marriage have little in common with date-raped high school students in 20th-century America. The girls and women violated by Red Army soldiers in 1945 cannot realistically be compared to Dalit women raped by men of higher caste today. The options available to sexually abused women in the occupied territories of Palestine, Rio's Favelas, or Cité Soleil in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, are different to the protections open to German citizens. French wives who acquiesce to sexual intercourse with their husbands as the easier option bear no resemblance to bushwives in Sierra Leone. It matters if you are a boy, man, or non-binary person. It makes a difference if the attacker wields a machete or raises the threat of an unsigned employment contract. There is always a risk of emphasizing similarities over differences. Any assumption that sexual violence is a universal experience insults the specificities of individual histories. Terror is always local. Terror is also unevenly distributed. One major school of second-wave feminism that developed in the West between the 1970s and 1990s contended that rape is indigenous, not exceptional, to women's social condition. Every female from 9 months to 90 years is at risk, and rape is a form of global terrorism. The most influential exposition of this view is Susan Brownmiller's insistence in her classic Against Our Will, 1975, that from prehistoric times to the present, rape has played a critical function. It is nothing more or less than a conscious process of intimidation by which all men keep all women in a state of fear. Brownmiller's book changed the way people throughout the world think about sexual violence. But this generalization is not tenable. Some people are more vulnerable than others. Girls and women are at higher risk, as are people who are BME, black and minority ethnic, refugees, asylum seekers, undocumented migrants, LGBTQ and non-binary, and those with physical or learning disabilities. Crucially, these identities are not discrete badges of vulnerability. Their effects are cumulative. This is the point that Kimberly Crenshaw made most forcefully in her influential article, Demarginalizing the Intersection of Race and Sex, 1989. Crenshaw is a legal academic and one of the founders of critical race theory. Her essay introduced a crucial concept for this book, intersectionality. Crenshaw points out that the focus of white feminists in the West on the most privileged group members, that is, other white women, marginalizes those who are multiply burdened. It is not enough to simply add black women to an already established analytical structure. This is because the intersectional experience is greater than the sum of racism and sexism. So any analysis that does not take intersectionality into account cannot sufficiently address the particular manner in which black women are subordinated. In other words,